His teachings challenge us to think critically, govern ethically, and live virtuously, holding up a mirror to our modern age and asking us, are we building the kind of world that nurtures wisdom and virtue? We may not have an answer yet, but Al-Farabi's works offer timeless guidance on how we might begin the search. Welcome to Icons of History, where we dive deep into the past to uncover the stories of the individuals who shaped our world. From great leaders to visionaries who changed the course of humanity, here we bring you the tales of the icons who left an indelible mark on the pages of history. Before we dive into the life and work of Warith Al-Farabi, it is important to set the stage for understanding the historical and intellectual context of his era. Warith Al-Farabi was not only one of the most influential philosophers in the Islamic Golden Age, but also a figure whose ideas shaped not just his own time, but centuries of thought that followed. This story attempts to explore who Al-Farabi was, not just the scholar, but the human behind the texts that continue to define the nexus of philosophy, religion, and politics to this day. Warith Al-Farabi's legacy transcends time, offering insights that continue to illuminate the paths of philosophy, religion, and politics today. Warith Al-Farabi's life unfolded during the 10th century, an era of profound intellectual and cultural advancements. The Islamic Golden Age blossomed between the 8th and 13th centuries, characterized by incredible growth in mathematics, astronomy, physics, and philosophy. It was a time when scholars across the vast Islamic empire engaged deeply with the intellectual heritage of ancient civilizations, particularly the Greeks, Persians, and Indians, to develop and refine their own frameworks of knowledge. It was in this environment that figures like Al-Farabi flourished, laboring tirelessly as bridges between cultures, ideas, and epochs. Warith Al-Farabi was born in 872 CE in Farab, a region in modern-day Kazakhstan from which he takes his name. Though the specifics of his early life remain elusive, historians believe that his upbringing in this frontier region granted him exposure to a diverse array of traditions, helping shape the cosmopolitan perspective his later works exhibit. Farab was situated on the edges of major trade routes where merchants, scholars, and travelers converged. This melting pot fostered exposure to both traditional Islamic teachings and the flourishing philosophical traditions inherited from previous civilizations. Here, Al-Farabi first encountered the corpus of Greek philosophy, an encounter that would forever define his intellectual trajectory. As an ambitious youth, Al-Farabi left Farab for Baghdad, the beating heart of the Islamic intellectual tradition, and the newly established Abbasid Caliphate. Baghdad, in Al-Farabi's time, was an unparalleled center of learning. The city's famed House of Wisdom, a hub where scholars translated and interpreted Greek texts, was especially influential in shaping Al-Farabi's philosophical inclinations. Under the mentorship of prominent figures in Baghdad, Al-Farabi honed his knowledge in diverse fields, including philosophy, logic, music, medicine, and natural sciences. It is said that his understanding of Aristotle became unparalleled. Al-Farabi not only read Aristotle's works in their Arabic translations, but also immersed himself in the commentaries of earlier figures like Plotinus and Alexander of Aphrodisias. Throughout his career, Al-Farabi engaged with Greek philosophy in a transformative way. Dubbing him the second teacher, a title earned for his deep knowledge and commentary on Aristotle, the first teacher, became one of his defining legacies. Unlike many thinkers who simply followed existing systems of thought, Al-Farabi sought to synthesize Aristotle, Plato, and Neoplatonism within the framework of the Islamic intellect and faith. Central to Al-Farabi's contributions was his vision for humanity, how we should live, govern, and search for wisdom. Philosophy, in his view, wasn't merely a scholarly pursuit, but an essential guide for the flourishing of human societies. His works laid down ideas that shaped both medieval Islamic philosophy and European Renaissance thinking. Al-Farabi's philosophical legacy continues to inspire those who seek wisdom and virtue as guiding principles for humanity. One of Al-Farabi's most significant contributions was his concept of the ideal state. In his seminal text, The Virtuous City, Al-Farabi imagined an ideal society governed by principles rooted in reason, virtue, and communal welfare. The leader of this society was envisioned as someone who combined the wisdom of a philosopher with the moral integrity of a sage. In many ways, this work reflects the influence of Plato's Republic, where the philosopher king is central to societal harmony. At the core of the virtuous city was the pursuit of virtuous living as the highest path for humanity. According to Al-Farabi, societies function best when governed by leaders who recognize spiritual truths and act selflessly in service of their community. His work has often been viewed as a bridge between political philosophy and ethics, a combination that remains vital in discussions of governance today. Al-Farabi believed strongly in the integration of religion and philosophy. For him, the two were not opposing forces, but rather complementary paths toward truth. He viewed divine revelation and rational reasoning as working in tandem, each contributing to the elevation of the human soul. This unique synthesis challenged the dichotomy often set up between faith and reason, arguing that the ideal philosopher must also engage deeply with spiritual wisdom. Through this lens, Al-Farabi's teachings continue to inspire those who seek a balanced understanding of the world, bridging the sacred and the rational. Beyond philosophy and politics, Al-Farabi also revolutionized theories in music and the sciences. His treatises on music remain among the earliest and most sophisticated analyses of the art in the Islamic tradition. In his work, Kitab al-Musika al-Kabir, the Great Book of Music, Al-Farabi examined the nature of sound, the relationship between mathematical proportions and harmony, and the psychological effects of music on the human soul. Al-Farabi argued that music was not merely entertainment, but an essential tool for emotional and spiritual development. He believed that music could elevate the human spirit, helping individuals attain higher levels of self-awareness and peace. This perspective was deeply influential in later developments, with scholars in both East and West citing his ideas in their own works on music theory. Warith Al-Farabi's writings and teachings had an unprecedented ripple effect. His intellectual influence transcended his lifetime, shaping fields as diverse as philosophy, political science, music theory, and theology. In the Islamic tradition, Al-Farabi's synthesis of reason and revelation laid the groundwork for philosophers like Avicenna, Ibn Sina, and Averroes, Ibn Rushd. His works remained essential reading in both East and West, serving as a cornerstone for generations of scholars seeking to harmonize philosophical rigor and religious devotion. Al-Farabi's influence reached beyond Islamic lands to medieval Europe during the Renaissance. As Greek philosophical texts found their way into Europe through Arabic translations, Al-Farabi's name often accompanied discussions of Aristotle and Plato. Al-Farabi's writings also offered some of the earliest contemplations around the relationship between statecraft and spirituality, a discussion that remains highly relevant. His assertion that leaders must embody moral and intellectual integrity serves as a timeless guideline for modern governance. Warith Al-Farabi lived his life as a seeker of truth, dedicating himself to understanding the foundations of human happiness and societal harmony. His writings, though rooted in the 10th century cosmos, transcend temporal boundaries. They remind us of the importance of weaving together knowledge from different traditions in search of universal truths. Al-Farabi fostered a dialogue between civilizations, a dialogue that continues to shape intellectual landscapes to this day. His teachings challenge us to think critically, govern ethically, and live virtuously, holding up a mirror to our modern age and asking us, are we building the kind of world that nurtures wisdom and virtue? We may not have an answer yet, but Al-Farabi's works offer timeless guidance on how we might begin the search. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time with icons of history. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. See you next time as we explore more icons who made history.